It had been a great summer, filled with parades, floats, friends, and fun. Being First Princess of Baldwin was coming to an end, and I was ready to say goodbye to my royal duties. I was not ready, though, to say goodbye to my brother, nor did I get that chance. The morning of August 4, 1999, I had planned to get up and write my farewell speech for the coronation that was coming up in a few days. But instead, I woke up to screams. These screams were coming from my brother, and they were not screams of joy, but screams of sorrow. That is how I found out that my oldest brother had died in a car accident. And that was the day that everything in my life changed. Even though this event was caused a whirlwind of negative effects in my life, it also eventually inspired me to do something positive with my experiences. I did not want to let this ruin my life forever. So that's when I turned my life around and decided to become a grief and bereavement counselor. Hi, I'm Brittany. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Even though the death of my brother eventually made me realize what I wanted to do with my life, it also had many negative effects in my life. The day my brother died was by far the worst day of my life. There's nothing that you can say to even compare anything else to such a loss, such a heartbreak. I was 17 years old when my brother died, not quite an adult, but not a child anymore either. My parents were grieving as well, as you can imagine, so it was hard for them to see what I was going through. And of course, I never wanted to bother my parents or burden them to tell them how I was feeling. I didn't want them to have to worry about me. They were so worried about everything else. They were going through so much. Most people thought that I was strong. I could handle myself. But this was not the case at all. I started doing worse in school and getting in trouble outside of school, and it was like no one even really noticed. Looking back now, I really wish that I would have had more help to cope with my feelings, to grieve in a healthy way. I realized that I probably should have seen a counselor, but this was never offered to me, nor did I ever think about the availability of it. But this was not the only experience I had that made me realize that I wanted to be a grief counselor. 2 years ago, my 17-year-old cousin also died in a car accident. This was another one of those experiences where I woke up to horrible news, expecting to have a good day, but instead I get a phone call from my aunt, who was bawling to tell me that my dear, sweet cousin had died the night before in a car accident. It seemed unfair that our family had to go through this again. So much sorrow, another lost young life. As I watched my aunt and uncle suffering from the loss of their child, I wanted so much to be able to help take away their pain. But what can you say? What can you do to help? That's what I wanted to know. This is when I realized what I really wanted to do with my life. I decided that I wanted to be able to help people during difficult times in their lives. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to do something to help people. I wanted to help others who were in need, but I didn't know how to use this. Being a naturally supportive and caring person, there's no better way for me to use my experiences to help others than to become a grief and bereavement counselor for families and loved ones of those who have passed away. Not all people could become a grief and bereavement counselor because it is an emotionally draining career, as you can imagine. Every day going to work and dealing with people who are dealing with the most difficult times in their life. However, I think that with my many experiences with death, I'm a stronger person, and I'll be able to do it. I can't wait for the day that I am finally done with school and can use my abilities to help others. I still see my mother suffering, and how my aunt and uncle cry nearly every day still. Their whole life was their daughter, and now she's gone. Have you ever had someone close to you lose someone that they loved, and you wanted so much to know the right things to say to them? You wanted so much to help, but you don't know how to? I'd love to have the tools to be able to help people in this horrible time of need. I would love to be that person who knew the right thing to say, or knew what to say to get them to grieve in a healthy way. I've had many experiences with death, and could not even count the many people in my life that have passed away, including many family members, friends, community members. These experiences have all made me a stronger person, and I'm able to handle almost anything that life throws my way, no matter what it is. It's like what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And really, why not use the strength in a positive way?